arguing against the raise. What I'm saying is, I don't think that the commission committed to the raise in December. So I just want to have clarity on what the commitment and the deal was that settled the lawsuit. And I felt we were already there. So as far as whether we get a raise or don't get a raise, or that's totally up to you, and I'm not a proponent or an opponent to that. I just want I want clarity on the record. The other thing is, can you vote on the amended budget without this item? Because it's going to change the budget.
Mm-hmm. It would be a second amendment, which again, we do several, especially in the spring and early summer, every year, because budgets are not, it's just like your home budget, you know, it's not set in stone. Budgets move, they're living,
Okay.
a living thing.
I'll be back from there.
How do we want this worded if it works out for him for the time? Discussion or info on the 56-cent an hour raise.
The agenda should always have the people involved, so it'd be Aaron Foley with Teamsters and Corey Swanson, County Attorney. Discussion and decision. Actually, you can now take those off because obviously it's a discussion. 50-cent COLA raise for county electeds and deputies, - decision.
Get your name, F-O?
F-O-L-E-Y.
Okay, I have that. And the first is E-R?
E-R-I-N.
Yeah, okay, right. Corey, discussion, on 56-cent COLA raise.
And - decision, or else we can't make a decision. You don't need to say discussion or decision at the beginning, but it needs to say - decision at the end.
Yeah, we'll put it in the agenda, find out from Corey here.
I text Bobby Wade because she's been following the Rocky Acres. She says, woo.
Guess we'll wait. Anything else, Brenda?
Not that I can think of right now. That's what happens when you go on vacation. Don't get much time to.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Figured we were moving on to your item, sorry. Didn't mean to keep you holding.
Okay, anything else on this amendment, or we'll close the public meeting? Okay, the public meeting is now closed,
Public hearing.
or hearing. We'll go back to our regular scheduled.
Chairman, based on the fact that Debbie has explained what the negatives mean and that cash is going back into the various different funds, based on the fact that this has been remathed and undermathed and overmathed over the last month plus, based on the fact that this was a solution put together by Chief Legal at Mako, Mike Saystad, basically because he had the brilliance and know how to do it, and the rest of us were floundering. I would move that we accept the fiscal year 15 budget amendments, sheriff's lawsuit settlement as submitted, and based on the public hearing we've heard today.
I'll second that motion. I assume that was the motion that you just said. Is there any other comment before we go to a vote? The sheriff or county attorney?
Mr. Chairman, if the numbers are accurate, then that's the only question really, I think, because this will implement the lawsuit settlement that has already been approved, and will finally end the dispute over the budgeting process from last year. It will resolve the wages with the one issue we've talked about that still needs to be looked at. And I think it'll help us move forward beyond this to kind of a more, probably less contentious, more agreed way of running things. And I don't know if it's the right time to address this with you now or after this vote, but I do have some requests for the next budgeting process of kind of how we do it. I think there's a lot more, as a new elected official, there's a lot more information I need to, as I mentioned a couple times, I'd like to have the Mako folks come in and do some budget training for us. And I think that there's, I just think the process could stand for a lot more visibility for us to look at the spending decisions, to justify our expenditures, to know what our revenue is expected to be over the next year, 5 years, et cetera. And I think it would help the public know what we're spending money on, and I think it would definitely help the department heads, because I get the sense there's kind of this air of mystery that who exactly is responsible for the numbers, who's responsible for the recommendations to the commission, and I'm lucky because this time not only do I have a small department with 3 employees, but I didn't have any amendments that were affected by today's decision. But for future budget years, I need to be able to look down and justify, because it's public money, what I'm spending it on. And there may be a point when I'm going to decrease or a point where I'm going to request an increase. And so I need to be able to provide that to for your approval, but also for the people who elected us. That's probably not for a day, but that would be for the next budget we need. That's my request.
Well, thank you, Corey. Any more response from the sheriff?
Just that I would like to be included on the decreases and increases to my budget in the future, rather than receiving them in an email.
Okay.
That
Yes.
would be appreciated.
Response?
Sharon Doig, reporter. Wasn't it agreed once a month to do a budget review and have the sheriff present?
But with the new system, I haven't been able to get my budget until just recently.
Because I know you were on vacation, so I didn't know
Well,
whether you were.
But they changed over systems and it wasn't
Okay.
until recently I was able to get it.
We'll go back and vote a motion on the floor. We've been moved and seconded to accept the budget amendments as discussed. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
Chairman, I would like to just address some of the comments made. I appreciate very much, Corey, your suggestion and request. And those of you who've been here before through the budget season know that we do this, but what we do is we meet with all the different department heads. They're the ones who submit their budgets, revenue and expenditure. They work with Debbie to see what grants are expected, what those revenues are, entitlement share, PILT, SRS, all the other revenues. There's formulas that come from those different departments, that come through Mako, that Debbie puts together. And again, budget, department heads meet with Debbie continually during that whole process. By the time it comes here, those have been well vetted through Debbie. Department heads are well aware of their expenditures and revenues. Amendments still have to happen throughout the year because you just don't have a crystal ball. As far as including any department head in decreases and increases, we don't determine those, department heads do. Department heads turn in their own budgets. What this was with the decreases and increases was based on how much department heads have spent on personnel. If they have already spent a certain amount, if they need more money because of the raise, Debbie just plugged it into a formula, but it was nothing excluding anybody. Again, department heads turn in their own budgets, expenditures, and revenues. And any department head who's had any question on their budget could go to Debbie at any time. And I would again, with Debbie's nodding of her head, suggest that anybody who has a question on their budget, go talk to Debbie. She gave me a lot of hours last week. She will give the same to any one of you. Debbie, did you want to add anything on that? Or did I cover it?
I'm available, you just need to come talk to me. I can't produce it out of my head. If I don't know your questions, I can't answer them. We've got reports, they're going to be able to move forward. Have questions, I can help you. We can come up with something.
And I would ask out of respect for Debbie, if you do go into her office with a question, ask her if she's busy on something else. If she's got an audit that has to be done by 3 o'clock that day, perhaps your questions could wait till the next day. So just show her the respect that, of asking if this is a good time. I think that's fair of anybody that we go in to talk to. So that's all I wanted to say.
Okay.
Could I just ask a follow-up question? What's our timeline for beginning the process for next budget year? And does the compensation committee meet prior to that? Just maybe, what month are we talking about when I need to start being ready for this?
Debbie, would
Maybe
you
say
kind of
March?
give an overview? I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, if you want to
that's
ask
fine.
that. I just think she's the best one to
I was
answer.
gonna say also the timeframe.
Ideally, the compensation board needs to meet before the end of the year to make their recommendations of what kind of raises they're looking at giving and to who. A lot of that then is based on the CPI that comes out, and then we get word from Mako, here's potential, what your cost of living increase could be, and it's based on the CPI. Once I have some of that, I can start working numbers. People get reports, kind of what they need, what they want. We have Black Mountain this year, so budgeting is gonna be a little different than it has been. I don't know what to expect yet. But the process is fairly similar. You just need to come up with what you think your expenses are based on this last year's spending. And then I start collecting the data to start putting in and start getting reports and work with the commission, and people get their justification from the commissioners. And we start going from there. But May is typically when it starts.
So when you say that the compensation board, the commission needs to meet before the end of the year, you mean fiscal year?
Yeah.
So you mean before June 30th?
And I think most of the time they have,
Yeah,
haven't they?
usually, Corey, the compensation board starts meeting in April.
And then when does the budget have to be final and adopted by the commission?
Well, it's based on when we get valuations from Department of Revenue. We have so many days after we get it from Department of Revenue. And they have deadlines, so it's usually end of September, 1st October.
And that's for the first half, because there's two different steps. The departmental budgets are 30 days after that. This year, the overall budget, the mills were set September 4th-ish, and then the departmental was set October 4th-ish.
So that's, I guess, if we're gonna start in April with the compensation board, could we get, I'm gonna request we get Mako training either beginning of April or in March on the budgeting process? And even if we can't, I'll just go up to Helen and spend time up there, but it might, I mean, I'm probably not the only one who would be asking for that.
We've talked about this, you and I. Harold Blatty has gone to other counties and given an overall county training on the budget. He's happy to do that, but he's not even going to consider it till after the legislative session is over. So I would say, whatever day, is it end of April that they're done? Probably beginning of May-ish, middle of May. But he's receptive to that, he likes it, he was excited before going up to Sanders County last year. So it's just to have him do it during the legislative session is not fair to him or Mako or us.
So can I request that we have it, and we request from him in May?
Mhm.
Right. And are you gonna follow up on this, and Cory? You'll follow up on it?
Do you want me to send you an email? What do you want me to do to follow up?
Or continue on, so it's.
I believe that
Oh,
request should come.
I'll be banging this drum all year.
I believe the official request should probably come from both the commissioners and the county attorney, since it's, you know, this is certainly something we've talked about in the past, but I don't think it should just be one person, and I certainly think that regardless, it should be the
Well,
commission as
yeah,
well.
but I mean, keep it on the front burner, I should say, I guess, put it that way. If you'll do that, that'd be great. Okay, guess if we, anything else in amendments, or, looks like we have a COS.
Yes, sir.
It's really nothing new. It's previously been approved. The Townsend Mobile Home Estates trail, well, the DEQ, some of it says Mountain View Mobile Home Estates. So DEQ will do a rewrite, but that is proven a lot harder than said. Just gathering all the information from the engineer and getting new signatures and getting everything relabeled. Because of course the survey and the DEQ should match with the names. And so I've talked to Nicole and Julie, and like Price Hills changed their name to Village at Elk Ridge. So the plat now says Price Hills, also known as Village of Elk Ridge. And that came through the commission.
Mr. Chairman, you're escorting John today. You need to stay with him wherever he goes in the courthouse. Sorry, Bernadette. That's per Broadwater County policy.
Can I just ask the question? You said it originally was called, or one person called it Townsend what?
Townsend Mobile Home Estates is the name on the plan.
Sorry. Yeah. It's, is he coming back?
No,
Did you escort him out of the building per the policy?
no, he's talking to Doug, and he's gonna be down there with Doug right now,
Did Doug say okay?
apparently so.
Did Doug tell you, yes, he would
I
take
didn't talk to
responsibility?
Doug, no, I didn't, but I'm not
This
worried
is-
about it.
You know what, this is part of the Broadwater County policy that was adopted by this commission, Franklin. You need to adhere to it. That is the way it works. Per the policy, if you take responsibility for John Wright, you need to either hand him off to another elected official or department head who accepts responsibility, or escort him from the building. That's what the policy states.
Fine with me.
Would
Makes
you
you feel
please-
better, I'll go down and talk to Doug right now.
You know what? I think you need to do what you are responsible for. I'm so sorry, Bernadette.
No problem.
This is important stuff. We don't just thwart Broadwater County for our own whims.
It's okay, we'll get,
Oh, yeah, no problem. Bye.
you bet.
RY Timber got, 2 sales on what kind of land?
National Forest.
National Forest.
That's why it's such a big deal.
Okay.
They're part of a collaborative, and this collaborative was formed, it's more with the Livingston office, but of course it encompasses all RY Timber. And this is with Madison County, Carbon County, Gallatin's involved. And what they did is they started a public process and invited these environmentalist extremist groups that do the single stamp action. They invited them on day 1. They've had a ton of open meetings. They are officially called a collaborative, and that is a process. Oregon has just, very few, if any, of the challenges that we get here. And the success is two cuttings on, or 2 contracts on National Forest land, so it's a big deal.
We'll go ahead, her name for COS.
And Doug officially took responsibility for John?
Everything taken care of.
Is that
Go
correct,
ahead.
Franklin, for the record?
Bernadine.
Franklin, I would like for the record to get an answer
And the record
from
is
you.
taken care of, let's leave it at that. Go ahead
No,
with your
no,
COS.
Franklin, I want an answer because we are talking about Broadwater County policy. Did Doug take
Yes, he did.
responsibility? Thank you.
You feel better now?
Yes, I do. Thank you
Good,
for
good,
answering
let's go
the
ahead.
question.
Bernadine, no more interruption, I'll guarantee you that.
Oh, no problem. Anyways, since the DEQ has a different name, because it was attached to Mountain View Mobile Home Estates, Julie and Nicole both agreed that if it was the commission approved, we could add just also known as Mountain View Mobile Home Estates. That would clarify the DEQ and just let everything be filed as is.
So it's a simple,
So,
simpler.
yes, so what this is sticky paper, and I
Okay,
called the landowner also. And I can cut that and put it right on the Mylars, and then it can be filed. So it was a quick, easy fix if the commission doesn't have a problem. If
No,
it's
I
okay
move-
with them.
I move that we support the, also known as name, secondary name to Mountain View Mobile Home Estates.
I'll second that. Motion on the floor to change, or add the name of, to the Mobile. What's the?
Mountain View
Mountain View, yeah,
Mobile Home Estates.
with the, added addendum on it. Bring it up to a vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passed.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet, thanks.
Like I said, it's just one of those, just to be, have all your I's crossed. Dotted,
Absolutely.
T's crossed. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Thank you.
you bet. We will recess until 1:30.
And did Mike Koenig,
Conkey.
Conkey?
No, he did not.
But I mean, did he come